Hey guys, I'm here. I just got back from seeing Top Gun Maverick, and I just want to give you guys my quick thoughts on the film. I just saw the original for the first time less than a week ago, and my reaction to it is on the channel now. By the time you're seeing this, it will be on the channel, so you can check out my initial raw thoughts to the original film from 1986. I think that film still holds up to this day in a lot of ways, from the performances to the cinematography, the score, to just the overall tone and vibe of the whole movie. And I think picking up with this now franchise 30 years later and these characters, it really just feels like a spiritual sequel in every sense of the word, especially with a lot of that imagery and a lot of the directorial style that was in that original one from Tony Scott, now being helmed by Joseph Kosinski. I think he does a really great job of mirroring that same vibe, and the cinematography is beautiful. Like, where it looked good before, it looks even better now, and I'm very glad that I saw this on the big screen because, you know, when I did my reaction to the film, obviously I was watching it here on my computer, so I couldn't get, you know, the full visuals, but I could still take in the gorgeous framing, imagery, and all that to heart. But there's just something about seeing it on the big screen that just, like, blows you away. They tell a very natural story from where we left off with the characters and pick up with them later. Obviously, 30 years have passed in World, so a lot of things are different. Characters are in different places, but there's like a known relationship and progression that happened during that time. So we kind of pick up with them all as they're scattered to the winds as we touch base with some familiar faces here and there. And I will say that one thing I was going into this definitely keeping an eye out for was particularly how they handle and address Iceman, considering the health condition with Val Kilmer and all of that. And I was honestly really, really happy with how they executed that in the film. It was very natural, respectful, and it was touching. I think they did a really good job honoring him in the movie. And Miles Teller does a phenomenal job as Rooster, who is Goose's son, who's followed in his footsteps. He does a really phenomenal job, but he just looks so eerily like Anthony Edwards, man, that it's uncanny. Holy crap. And he's just gripping. And as I won't get into the story details, story beats, or anything of the sort, nothing that isn't in the trailers at least, but he also is following in his father's footsteps, and it brings him back in line with Maverick as he's called back to Top Gun to train the next generation of cadets for a very important mission. And there's a colorful cast of characters, and they're all fun to get to know. They all have their own little quirks, their own little specialities, their own little personalities, and just like before, it feels very familiar, but they're also very distinct, and I really like that about it. Everybody was like had a very attractive quality about them in the way that they played their characters and all that. It's action-packed, it's thrilling, it's beautifully directed. This is like a masterclass sequel, I think. I think it does enough to pay homage to the original while putting it in a natural new direction. And it was a lot of fun, man. It was tense. The action sequences were gorgeous. And I gotta say, personally, and, you know, because I don't have any nostalgia to this film because I literally just saw it like I said, a week ago. I gotta say, I think this film, while the original does hold up, if I would give the original Top Gun, let's say like a 9 out of 10, I would say this is like 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. It excelled in every category to me. With the characters, with the story, with the escalation. Obviously, we've seen a lot of this stuff before, but they escalated the situations and the stakes in a very natural way that didn't feel forced, hammered in, or anything, and it was a lot of fun, man. I was emotional throughout. Just like with the original, this one also is really strong at pulling at your heartstrings throughout it in a lot of different ways. From the exciting moments, I even got misty in some of the action sequences because there's some payoffs that come back around for certain people, some story beats that definitely deliver, and then just the emotional bits that carry on. And some of it, and I would see even like you could probably go into this and not having seen the original, but I don't feel like it would hit as hard without having that context. Now, it does try to provide some of that context. There are some flashbacks. There's some, exposition and stuff like that thrown in to help anybody that's just coming to this. But I do highly recommend having seen the original film going into this. Is it necessary? No, but I do think some things might not hit as strongly if you had not seen that film, which makes me glad that I did decide to watch this before going into it. But yeah, man, this is a beautiful, beautiful movie. It's a moving movie. It's a moving flick, and I really, really recommend this, especially if you're a fan of the original, especially if you're a fan of these types of films. Tom Cruise, I think, gives the performance of his career in this. At least for me, I think he gives the strongest performance out of anything I've seen him in previously. I think this is his most layered and nuanced character, and he goes through just a whole roller coaster of feelings and vibes throughout this thing, on top of putting himself hook, line, and sinker in the seat of these planes for all of these sequences. It's commendable, man. Say what you will about the man behind the camera or anything like that. The dude can act, and he puts in the work to make the best product possible, and I think that that's what they did with this. I think they waited, they bided their time, they pushed this thing back, they made it work, and they made it the best that it could be. Because honestly, I don't think I could take anything out of this. I don't think there's not a moment in this that didn't work for me. There was not a moment that made me wince or cringe. I think it, honestly, not, I'm sure there has been, but it's like, this is like the Aliens and the T2 for military movies in my book, man, right now. And I just, like I said, there's no nostalgia coming in for this because I just watched this movie a few days ago. So it's not like I'm carrying a lot of that weight with me. So I don't know. I think that's a good judge for the film itself. And I don't want to spoil any of the fun bits for you, any of the character progressions, the moments, and I want to leave that for you guys to experience. I definitely recommend seeing it in the theater if you have a chance. If not, I think it'll do some justice on the small screen, especially if you got a decent-sized TV. Don't watch it on your home computer like I did whenever it comes out. That's my recommendation, because this is a beautiful, beautiful movie. Yeah, man, I enjoyed it. And who knows? Will we get a Top Gun 3? Don't know. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this film. I did. So if you've seen it, I'd love to know your thoughts. Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us in our Discord. We can talk about it there as well. Links to that and all my socials down below. Follow me in each and every one of those. Before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, Yori, Corey Scott, Margaret Grace, Mary Bradley, Melita, and Robert Anguiano. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for this video, guys. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.